Thank you all for coming out today to Dunkin Donuts Park. I'm Tim Restall, the general manager for the Hartford Yard Goats. I want to introduce three people. They'll be speaking in this order. Joe McCatherine, who is the Eastern League president, Josh Solomon, who is the owner of the Hartford Yard Goats, and I. Charles Matthews, who's the chairman of the Hartford Stadium Authority. So now I turn it over to Joe.
Thank you, Tim. I wish I could say it's a pleasure to be here. It's nice to be in Hartford. Not as excited about what we're talking about today. I wish we were celebrating the completion of a great 2016 season in Dunkin Donuts Park. Let me preface my comments today by stating unequivocally that baseball remains committed to Hartford. The Eastern League, the Hartford Yard Goats, the Solomon family, all are determined to make baseball a success here in Hartford, and we firmly believe that it will be a tremendous success by every measurement. But we are at a critical point for that to happen. We've lost the 2016 season. That's been a burden to everybody. It's been a burden to the city of Hartford, to the people that were going to work here, to the fans, to the teams, to the Eastern League teams, to Major League teams, and certainly to the Yard Goats that played the entire season unprecedented on the road. And I'm here to say today, and I've relayed and shared this privately, ongoing with the team. I've said it privately and shared it with the city, that we cannot accept that in 2017, and we will not accept it in 2017. We're at a critical point on the 2017 season and whether or not we can play baseball here. Our commitment to make that happen is evidenced by the fact that we released the 2017 schedule. It includes Hartford, and we determined to make it that way. However, there's been no action to date. We all knew and understood when the contractor on the job failed to meet their obligations that there would be time delays. We all understood that with the surety company Arch coming in to take over, that they would do due diligence and have to move over. Unfortunately, to date, there's been no action, and I'm here today that's no longer acceptable. It is critical and it's urgent that it happens now. I have no jurisdiction over the city. I have no jurisdiction over Arch Insurance, but we do have jurisdiction over the team. So for that reason, I want to share with everyone that the Eastern League, Minor League Baseball, and our partners at Major League Baseball have required that the Yard Goats and the Solomon family take action, that they no longer sit back and hope that Arch meets their commitment. And let me reiterate, everyone believes, legal and otherwise, that Arch Insurance is the party that's responsible for completing the stadium. But as I said, we don't have control over them. That's beyond our control. And we have to take this into control for our hands. So we've required the team to take action and to do what's necessary to ensure. And to that point, the team now is working with the city on a parallel path to ensure completion of this stadium should Arch Insurance not fail to fulfill their obligation. And let me say that again. It's their obligation. We expect them to, but we have to move forward. We cannot risk 2017 being played on the road, and we're not going to. We remain committed. The only thing that can happen here, if this stadium is not done, is baseball will not come to Hartford. If the stadium is not done, baseball will not be in Hartford, and that's the only weapon we have. And I don't want to use it, and we don't want to do it, but we have to make a commitment in a timely fashion to our partners that they will have a home stadium, and they will have a home stadium. If this stadium is completed, it will be here. If they do not finish this stadium, it will not be here. Again, I want to reiterate, the time is now. This is not something that can go on for weeks. We have to have immediate action, immediate response. Everything will take time to get up and running. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Josh to make comments on what the team is expecting to do, but that's the position of baseball at this point. Thank you.
thank you everybody for coming. Joe, I appreciate you coming here to talk to the folks from the city. I think as Joe stated, the team is committed to playing baseball in Hartford in 2017. We have had tremendous support from our sponsors, from our fans, but I think at this stage where it's been over 3 months since substantial completion has been missed, that and no action has taken place at the ballpark, it was time for the team to make a proposal to help complete the stadium so that we would have 2017 season here in Hartford. The pressure that we have is that at a certain point it is no longer our choice, that the decision be taken out of our hands by Major League Baseball and Minor League Baseball. And that is not something that we take lightly, and we are going to do everything in our power to ensure that we do get to play here in Hartford in 2017. We continue to work with the Stadium Authority and the city to figure out a way to get this ballpark completed. I echo Joe's comments that it's our desire that Arch step up and take responsibility and complete the ballpark. But at a certain point, we can't continue to wait around, which is why we made the proposal that we did to the city. Again, we're committed to being here. We appreciate your support and look forward to hopefully getting this issue resolved as quickly as possible so we can be focusing on the things that we should be, like our closer from last year from Berlin, Matt Caracity, getting his first win against the Chicago Cubs, or David Dahl breaking a Major League Baseball record of starting his Major League career with a 17-game hit streak, and not talking about the lack of progress on completing a ballpark. Thank you.
Good morning. Let me just make a couple of points clear. There's no space between the Eastern League and the Yard Goats and the Stadium Authority or the Mayor's office. We fully concur that time is of the essence. But let me characterize what has in fact been occurring. They have in fact, Arch Insurance, been here over 8 weeks doing what they call their due diligence. Let me tell you what has happened during that 8-week period so you get a sense of what's been occurring. Arch came in, they surveyed all the work that needed to be done in the ballpark, all of the work that was not in code compliance, all of the work that may not have been done in the workmanlike manner. That has been done over the last 8 weeks. They have also retained a number of consultants to help them, construction consultants, to help them do this effort. As you know, we have retained the architect, and the architect has been working with Arch to determine a revised scope of work. What is the work that remains to be done? How long will it take to complete that work? And what would be the cost? That's the whole purpose of retaining the architect. The city has received what we call a takeover agreement from Arch. Arch submitted a takeover agreement to us. We have edited and revised this takeover agreement, and we have sent that agreement back to Arch for its review and approval. So while on the surface it appears that no progress has been made, progress has been made in moving Arch Insurance down the road. Now, is it fast enough? No. We have said to Arch that time is of the essence. It's important, given construction schedules, given what needs to be done in the stadium, that we start the process sooner rather than later. So Arch fully understands that. And our hope is something will be dealt with, and that issue will be dealt with relatively soon. Because all you have to do is look at Josh's schedule, the Yard Goats schedule, and their first game is April 13th. That clearly suggests that the sooner we start to complete the ballpark, the sooner we can give the Yard Goats the keys. So that's taking place right now. And that's ongoing. And we don't think we're far removed from concluding. We're certainly at the point, with Arch, where either we have to conclude a deal, a contractual arrangement with Arch, or move in another direction. Our hope is Arch is our plan A. We think we're in a better position to protect the interests of the city, the taxpayers, and the residents if, in fact, we proceed with Arch. But we're at the point now where we have no more time. Arch has to move, as you heard from others, very soon so we can get it done. We also have a plan B. And while there may have been some reports that the city rejected the proposal submitted by the Yard Goats, I think it's fair to say the terms of the proposal from the Yard Goats was not really what we were expecting or what we thought we could agree to. We're in the process of putting together a counter proposal because in any business deal, for those of you who know business, you need a plan A, but you also need a plan B. And if, in fact, we conclude shortly that we cannot do this contractual arrangement with Arch, then plan B will be to sit down with the Yard Goats, with Josh Solomon and his team, and work out the deal. We are fully committed to getting this stadium done, and we're fully committed to ensuring that we can play baseball in April of 2017. So that's where we are now, and we think over the next week a lot of progress will be made, or the city will have to decide must they go in another direction. And we won't do that lightly, but we may be forced to go in another direction if we can't conclude our business arrangement with Arch. But time is of the essence, and in fact, we have no more time. But we think we're close, and we're fully committed to the Yard Goats, and we're fully committed to the Eastern League, and I'm glad they are fully committed to us because, as you know, the city has made a sizable investment in this stadium, and we need a team to play ball there. So thank you for coming here. I'll answer any questions along with the other three speakers when we have our Q&A.
All right, all three gentlemen are here to answer questions. Well, Max, if you want to. Joe?
I'm saying that for 2017, excuse me, we have to have a specific plan, and we have to have a stadium facility, a home site in place for the Colorado Rockies and the other clubs. So if the stadium's not ready, we won't play baseball here in 2017. What goes on in the future, I won't go out that far. Well, one of our plans B was to require Mr. Solomon and the Yard Goats to create an alternative path and to work with the city. But we will have an alternative path in the event that Arch does not step up and fulfill their obligation. That would be our plan B. My plan B will be to have a different location available for the team.
Have you checked?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
I think and I hate to say the press mischaracterized it, but I think there was some misunderstanding in communications. Clearly, when we received the proposal from the Yard Goats, it was another financing mechanism to complete the stadium. What we're doing with Arch that we've referred to as Plan B is Archer's putting forth a financial mechanism to complete the stadium. Josh Solomon and the Yard Goats have a Plan B financial mechanism to complete the stadium. We think it's in the best interest of the city to proceed with Arch. But that only makes sense if we can close the deal. If for some reason we cannot close the deal in a timely fashion, then we have people as we speak in City Hall in reviewing the proposal put forth by the Yard Goats and seeing what we can live with, what we can't live with, and how we might do it different. In legal terms, it may be a counter offer, but it's Plan B, and we won't go to Plan B until we're certain we can't complete Plan A.
I'm not sure there was a miscommunication. The mayor was asked directly if he wanted any money from Yard Goats.
Yeah.
The mayor's concern was that there wouldn't be any extra cost to the taxpayers of Hartford. Can you assure that?
And that's exactly what we're trying. Even with one of the reasons we're pursuing Plan A, we're certain there won't be any extra cost to the taxpayers. Under Plan A, bringing Arch in, they spend their money, they complete the stadium. We have to, if we go with a counter proposal to the Yard Goats, we have to ensure that we can still do that. And we have to ensure that we still have the revenue necessary to pay off the debt service associated with the bonds that we issue. So all that is being worked now. Don't jump ahead of us. We're trying to work two plans at once. Our first goal is Plan A, but barring that, in a short period of time, we'll be entering into serious negotiation with the Yard Goats on Plan B.
Troubling message to the city. It's a loan that would bear interest that the city would be taking out from Josh Solomon.
This is,
That's with interest payments. That's just more debt service. The city gets more.
listen, as I said before, we're looking at the proposal. Josh made a proposal. We're analyzing it. We have a number of objectives we're going to meet if we do a Plan B. We're not at Plan B yet. Now, I get that you guys want to talk about Plan B. We're not there yet. Plan B is on the table. Plan B is on the table. You know, and Plan A is real simple. Yachts assume responsibility for building the stadium. They build their resources. They spend their resources to complete the stadium. There's no additional cost to the city. That's Plan A. Well, yes, that's two separate tracks. Senate Plan will do what Senate Plan will do. And you probably see by now, Senate Plan's ended filing lawsuits. They're not really into completing stadiums, but they can file lawsuits. So what they'll do, what they're going to do. We have lawyers that will deal with Senate Plan and their lawsuit. Our goal, working with the Eastern League and working with the Yard Goats, is to complete the stadium. And again, two financial mechanisms. Either we'll go one way or the other, and time will tell, a short period of time.
If the takeover plan includes Arch having Senate Plan come back.
Well, now keep in mind, under the agreement that we have with the surety, it's not our agreement, but the surety, once they do the takeover, they have absolute responsibility to complete the stadium. That means legally they have the right to hire their own general contractor. Well, we have said to them that we would prefer they not hire Dono or Senate Plan. We don't think they have the capacity to finish the job. We don't think they have the capacity to close. That's what we have said to them. But under the current contract, it's Archer's call who they hire as GC to finish the job. Let's get that clear. That's a contractual requirement that was in place before all this started.
Joe, there was a lot of talk about leaving Hartford if this isn't completed. At what point are you saying you're going to cut your losses and you're going to leave town?
We're not prepared to put a drop dead. We're not prepared to put a drop dead deadline in. What I'm here today is I need to emphasize that we need to see action. We went to the team. We've been speaking with them privately, with the city, and said we need to see proactive steps toward an alternate policy. The first plan with Senate Plan didn't work, and is not going to work. So the second plan is for Arts Security to step up and finish the stadium as required. We can't put all our eggs in that basket. because no action's taken place. So we've said we got to start working on an alternate plan to finish this stadium. We are working on an alternate plan in the event the stadium doesn't get done. And that's separate and apart from what's going on with the city. Make no mistake, Hartford is our first choice. We want to be here. We want to open here in April. We have every expectation that will happen. But we can't get caught like we did in 2016. And I own 2016. My scenario was, the worst case scenario was the stadium would open 75 days late. I blew it. Plain and simply, I blew it. I never anticipated the stadium wouldn't open during the season. Major League Baseball has come and said, great, you blew it. We'll all move on. But it's time. Joe, what are you going to do for 17? We can't start having faith again and having that faith fail. So therefore, we'll go down parallel paths, making sure if one doesn't work, we'll have something else in place that does work. And if that doesn't work, then we'll have to play elsewhere. But only after the first two options of being in Hartford fail.
What are you mentioning earlier, though, about the stadium? How close is it to being finished, and how much more money is it going to take to complete?
I'm not really at liberty or even educated, but we do know that it can be completed in time for us to be satisfied for 17.
Well,
Beyond that,
well, keep in mind, if there's more money associated with the stadium, and obviously it will be more money, under Plan A, any additional costs will be absorbed by Arch. Arch is currently putting together the revised scope of work, and once that is completed, it should be completed relatively soon, they can just then put numbers on it. So I don't have a number to give you now. If I had one, I probably wouldn't give it to you now. We want to put together the whole deal. But clearly, any additional funds will not be borne by the taxpayers of the city.
But if Josh is solving some financial assistance to help you complete this process, we're talking about $5 million.
Well, go ahead.
I think what we would provide the financing for what it took to complete the ballpark.
That's right.
Josh, in terms of what you were saying a couple months ago to the negotiating for you said we need time to get these facilities moved in. At what point is it, and it's the same question I was throwing, at what point is it too late for the team to reasonably occupy these facilities now in 2017?
I think that timeline is not going to be dictated by me. That's in the hands of the Eastern League. It's in the hands of Major League and Minor League Baseball. It's not my call anymore.
Would you consider, Josh, a no interest vote in the city as a plan B?
Don't negotiate.
All I'm here and all I put that proposal forth to do was to provide an opening for dialogue for another way to complete the ballpark, because what we've witnessed is unacceptable and we can't wait any longer. I'm not going to get into the details of it. It's between us and the city.
I'll reiterate again that we've gone to the team and required that they explore an alternative path. And I think that's what Mr. Solomon was trying to do, was to go to the city and say, baseball is going to start making decisions rather than waiting for the team and the city to make decisions. And we will be prepared to make decisions. We're not going to put out a drop-dead deadline. What we're going to do is say, we'll know. When that day comes, we'll know that it's no longer possible. And that will be decision day.
Let's say Arch steps in a couple weeks from now, construction starts up in the fall, and then Arch now has complete control over it, and they say, we can't open by April 17th, or we'll have it open April 24th.
I'm not going to start dealing in hypotheticals.
That's right. That's right.
Isn't this one large hypothetical, though?
Yeah. Listen, we're not going to deal with those hypotheticals.
When you come
But
to me and tell me Arch has started construction and that they have a crew on and that they're doing their work, let's sit down and talk about it then. It won't be a hypothetical.
Yeah. And when we get the revised scope of work and we start the project, we'll also have a substantial completion date. So the Eastern League and the Yard Goats will be able to determine if they can play ball as scheduled on April 13th. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're working all these things out as we speak.
How much pressure was put on by Major League Baseball? What more?
Significant. Significant as in, I won't actually use the actual language, but they made it very clear that it was unacceptable to have a team play another season on the road, and that if we did not do something about it, somebody else would.
I can't hear.
In terms of what we know now with what needs to be done here at the stadium, we've seen your fair share of reports and project analysis here. What's the timeline in terms of how much work needs to be done and the dollar figure associated with that?
Well, I can't give you the dollar figure. They're in the process. Pendulum, the architect, and the Arch Insurance are putting together the revised scope of work. And once that's completed, we'll have a cost estimate, and we'll have a substantial completion date. And there's no space between the Eastern League's position and the Yard Goats. We fully concur that we have run out of time. We need to have something done quickly. And once we have that done, we'll share that with the public, because after all, it's a public project. We're not there yet. Give us a few more days, and we'll have more information.
It is the first time that an entire season has been lost unscheduled. Teams have played on the road with alternate facilities planned and scheduled. It's the first time. It's made a significant impact. This will ripple through. I can promise you this. In my tenure in the Eastern League, it'll never happen again.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
One last question. Dunkin Donuts Park is sponsoring this casino market. There are a lot of sponsors involved that get their hands in this. What's the word on the sponsorships? Whether there's I don't forget NBC Connecticut. and the Peacock.
We have had, thank you for the question, and it's important to note that all of our sponsors have been hugely supportive of us through this whole entire process, recognizing that that it was out of our control. They are strongly in support of the team. They're strongly in support of the city of Hartford and what this will bring to the city of Hartford. We continue to get phone calls of reassurance from them that they are with us and they stand behind the team and they stand behind the city. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, everyone, for coming on short notice as well. And all three are available for one-on-ones if you guys would like to talk. Thanks again for coming.